Every man looks at a woman's body, but very few actually read it. Most men see only the surface, the shape, the symmetry, the beauty, while missing the far deeper signals rooted in biology, psychology, and ancient identity. The famous psychologist Carl Jung once said that symbols speak a language older than words, and a woman's body is filled with these symbols. Now, this isn't about superficial beauty standards. This is about understanding signals, not judging features. A woman's body is a mirror, reflecting her temperament, her emotional needs, her relationship style, and even her stress level. None of these signals are labels. They are patterns and change to patterns that help us understand the incredible dance between her mind and her body. Today, we're diving deep. We'll explore 7 key features that silently communicate who she is, long before she ever speaks a word. And in the final chapter, we're going to decode the most misunderstood signal of all, a concept nearly every man gets wrong. Let's begin. First, her hips, the foundation of her archetype and life strategy. Hips are one of the oldest evolutionary signals. Before clothes, before language. The shape of a woman's hips communicated her core energy orientation, whether it flows inward or outward. We'll look at 2 broad archetypes. First, the nurturer, often seen in rounded, wider hips. This shape is historically linked to higher estrogen levels in a physiology built for stability and preserving resources. Psychologically, this often connects to being grounded, emotionally consistent, and having a deep desire for security. These women tend to build rich inner worlds. Their energy flows inward, toward home, partnership, and emotional connection. For them, adventure isn't an adrenaline rush, it's about deepening a bond. Next is the huntress, often seen with narrower, more athletic hips. This is associated with a hormonal profile that directs energy outward, toward goals and challenges. Psychologically, this often means independence, ambition, a certain restlessness, and a resistance to being controlled. These women chase horizons. They don't want a protector. They want a partner in motion, someone who adds speed to their journey. The key here is that neither archetype is better than the other. The skill is to recognize, not to project. Trying to turn a nurturer into a thrill seeker will destabilize her. Trying to confine a huntress will suffocate her. Understanding her archetype is like understanding her operating system. Next, her chest, the emotional compass. In our culture, the chest is often sexualized, but psychologically, it's far more significant. It often reflects her emotional orientation. Again, we see 2 general patterns. First, a smaller or more athletic chest, the intellectual lover. This often accompanies a more androgen-balanced hormonal profile. This can correlate with analytical thinking, emotional regulation, and a preference for mental connection. For these women, intimacy is the result of alignment to intellectual, emotional, and philosophical. Without that mental spark, physical intimacy can feel empty. Their primary language is conversation. Then, there's the larger or fuller chest, the emotional ocean. These women often show higher estrogen expression and a stronger nurturing instinct. This can mean more emotional expressiveness, warmth, empathy, and a need for reassurance. Their emotional world is like a tide, deep, shifting, and vivid. Logic won't calm their storms. Presence will. Most women exist somewhere between these 2 poles, but understanding which way she leans tells you how she bonds, communicates, argues, and attaches. Misreading this compass means misreading the relationship. Now, let's talk about her voice, the barometer of her inner energy. The voice is one of the most underestimated nonverbal cues, shaped by hormones, stress levels, and even self-perception. It's a higher, softer, lighter voice, often represents a request for safety. This isn't immaturity. It reflects a more sensitive psyche. It can signal playfulness, emotional vulnerability, and a preference for gentleness. When you're with her, pressure can feel like a threat, but protection feels like love. On the other hand, a lower, deeper, more resonant voice often signals power. It's associated with higher confidence in women who value directness, equality, and strength. Kana, they don't test your boundaries to see if you'll protect them. They test your boundaries to see if you respect them. Kana, her voice tells you the relationship dynamic she unconsciously desires, whether she seeks safety or challenge, softness or structure. Moving on to her lips, the gateway to her sensual style. Lips are incredibly expressive. Their shape can correlate with her emotional expression and how she orients toward pleasure. Full, plump lips often belong to the sensualist. These women tend to be very sensory-oriented. They appreciate aesthetics, texture, scent, flavor, and sound. For them, rushed intimacy can feel almost violent. They seek immersion, not speed. Then you have thin or tightly pressed lips, representing the controlled flame. These women are often more reserved, pragmatic, and emotionally self-protective. They are deliberate about who they trust. Their pleasure is private and deep. They don't broadcast their desire. Stay guarded, okay? A man who learns to match her mode, whether it's open sensuality or cautious intimacy, is the one who unlocks her comfort. Let's not forget her hands and gestures. Cool. Though less discussed, hands reveal a lot. Impulsivity, nervousness, or sensual confidence. How she touches objects, her own hair, her clothing, these are all micro-conversations, little signals of desire or defense that tell a story if you're paying attention. And now, her natural scent, the final layer of compatibility. Perfume is performance. Her natural scent is truth. Okay. This is the most primal compatibility test there is. Okay. Our sense of smell connects directly to the emotional brain. Okay. If her natural scent intoxicates you, it's a powerful sign. It can mean your immune profiles complement each other, that your nervous systems are in harmony, that your bodies choosing each other before your minds even have a say. But if her natural scent repels you, that's not superficial. It's a biological mismatch. Resisting this signal often leads to long-term friction in a relationship. Scent-based compatibility is almost binary. It's a yes or a no. And it's one of the strongest predictors of relationship longevity and sexual satisfaction. Nature whispers here, and nature is rarely wrong. Finally, let's decode the most misunderstood signal of all, her tightness. This is where nearly all the misinformation begins. The myth is that tightness is about her anatomy or her past. The reality is that tightness is a dynamic, muscular response controlled by her nervous system. It reflects only two things: her level of arousal and her sense of psychological safety and trust. If she is deeply turned on, her body involuntarily engages certain muscles. If she feels emotionally safe, open, and connected with you, her body's internal tension organizes into pleasure. Without that emotional trust, desire can't fully activate. And without desire, trust can't fully manifest physically. So, when she feels loose, this is not a judgment on her anatomy, it's relationship feedback. It's often caused by low arousal, low emotional safety, or low psychological trust. Maybe the energy is misattuned, too aggressive, too fast, too disconnected. A man's role is to be the environment in which her body responds. Her body isn't judging you, it is reacting to you. Tightness is her body saying, yes, I feel safe, desired, and connected. Looseness is her body saying, I am here, but I am not fully with you. A woman's physical response is a reflection of the emotional ecosystem you create together. Today, we've explored the archetype in her hips, the emotional compass of her chest, the signature of her voice, the language of her lips, the signals in her hands, the verdict of her scent, and finally, the intimate barometer of her physical response. A woman's body is not an object. It is a conversation, ancient, complex, involuntary, and honest. A man who learns this language evolves from a consumer to a connector. He stops guessing and starts understanding. And when he understands, intimacy stops being an accident and becomes an art form. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, don't forget to subscribe for more insights.